Welcome, everyone. Just about time. Let's turn this up just a smidge again. While we do this, and I finish putting out all of the notifications everywhere. There we go. And this, because I don't know why we ever use top chat. Okay, give me my sound back. Yay. As long as you get to floor 5, it doesn't matter, baby. So, 1-5 correctly, yeah. Oh, which one is... Okay. So Honglu's the one that's over here. Fun. Yep. All of the Blade lineage people. I guess we know what we're doing. Go first. Go claim all of it. Quick. $355, select 20. There we go. Perfect. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that right? Is it 5? Oh, Otis. Fucking Otis doesn't fucking come up. There. What a waste. She'll be there. Or they'll be there, but like, do that. She poise. No, he's tremor bleed. You're not leveled up. Have some fun with it. There we go. No, wait. For this one, we should go about it like... No, Heathcliff's been in the Vanguard for too long. I should pull him back and let him... Dante... oh, sorry. Did you say something? I provided you an answer to your question, but you exhibited no observable response. Is the Sinner's combat performance deteriorating beyond manageable parameters? No, things aren't that bad, but it's just hard to focus on one conversation when I'm trying to support battles happening in a completely different place at once. On top of that, Roja's shopping chatter's starting to get a little distracting. A few days after we entered N-Corp's district, the bus pulled over in the back streets of N-Corp to take care of a distortion case. The contract was supposed to be handled jointly with the LCD team, but distortion suddenly started cropping up all over an area of the back streets called Butter Street. Without any coherent pattern, no obvious point of origin or route of spread, nothing convenient like that. I had no choice but to split the sinners into several groups and send them out. Odish, Ishmael, Sinclair, Don Quixote, Yisang, and Mersal were on their way to rendezvous with the LCD team. Heathcliff, Gregor, and Honglu were suppressing distortions that had showed up from other directions. And our onboard stock scraped down to the bottom. Roja and Ryoshu, who were done with their share of the suppression work, were put in charge of buying supplies for the bus. As for Faust, she decided to stay behind with me on the bus. I wanted to get through the consultation sessions I've been putting off, and thought I might as well get myself some much-needed practice with handling the new golden bow's power I have acquired. To reiterate, there is no issue requiring special concern regarding Faust. It is true that Faust has, on several recent occasions, expressed dissatisfaction with a certain Faust. However, those instances should be classified as a mere personal grievance. I mean, that's good if that's all there is to it, but this was not the first time Faust had seemed unlike herself. There had been times before when she spent far longer alone than usual, lost in thought. Moments when she could not produce immediate answers to questions from the other sinners to me. Excuse me. Could it be you cannot access the Gelfishnacht? May I ask your basis for that inference? Because you're acting all out like you did back on the warp train. It appears that there remains occasions on which you are still capable of surprising Faust, Dante. So I was right, you really are cut off from the Gelfishnacht. That was not intended as a confirmation of your conjecture. Maybe she's saying that while she can technically access it, it may as well be that she can't. I wish I could ask more and get to the bottom of it, but the way she was sidestepping the subject told me that prying wouldn't give me any further insight. Right. I won't press you if you don't want to talk about it. Your reserve is appreciated. Shall we move on? Yes, your consultation is the next agenda. After cross-referencing the records pertaining to the recent events in the House of Spiders, it would appear that memories concerning the individuals designated as Sora and Ren, currently remain only with you, Dante. As such, should the influence of Ryoshu and her sword lead to further omissions in the official record, the manager will be responsible for supplementing the necessary information. Yeah, not the first time I was the only one left with intact memories. That's right, despite K-Corp's memory wipe procedure, Catherine's erasure by the Golden Bow's power, and Arashaki severing people from existence, I was the only one who remembered what had transpired. But ironically enough, the memories I had prior to swapping my head with this clock still showed no sign of returning. I want my old memories come back, though. Is it because of this clock head? Speculation based on your experience with the bus team thus far will not meaningfully contribute to the recovery of your former memories, Dante. Manager. Inductive reasoning conducted from memories with gaps, after all, is bound to have structural limitations. Bongi would serve as an adequate analogy. Bongi? Yes, Bongi. Receiving feed and increasing a body mass alone would provide it with no meaningful basis for identifying the purpose of its rearing, even at the terminal stage. When exposed to kitchen instruments and the heat of the stove, its limited experience would prove inadequate to constitute an understanding of its ultimate fate and purpose. Likewise, the ultimate answer to your doubts can only be obtained from the whole of the experience that you will have to accumulate. You will accumulate at the terminus of your entire journey. That is your allotted mission. Man, why am I yawning? Because treasure awaits at the end of the road, at the end of hell. And that treasure will give me back my memories and my head. Also, indeed, at the end of the road, you will be able to engrave your aspect. I still have no idea exactly what aspect means, or even whether it's an object, but I know one thing. Is that the me from before all of this began has wanted it badly, obsessively, desperately. It's more like an instinctive knowledge, but with my memory gone, that feeling, however strong it is, does not change the fact it's not just another word with no discernible mental image. You're not going to tell me what it actually is, are you? The aspect? What it means or why I wanted it so much? If it remains a piece of information that must be disclosed to you, then no. I am unable to tell you. Pay it no mind. You are still following your star acceptably. Please concentrate on the journey. More importantly, have you grown accustomed to that incomplete power? Current observation suggests you have yet to arrive at that level. Well, I've gotten pretty used to focusing on one place at a time, but keeping track of several places at once is still a bit rough. Otis's team is doing well in combat, even without my direct supervision, and Rojia's team is shopping and not engaging in battle at the moment. Taking my mind off of them would prove much easier, but that wouldn't give me the much needed practice, so I'm doing my best to keep an eye on every sinner's status. Sufficient familiarity should result in substantial tactical value. You should be able to cast a wider net when information gathering and employ previously unavailable tactical patterns. Alright, and I'd also be able to tell when it's a bad time to call someone too. Even as I continue talking with Faust, I make sure to not to stop observing the places where each group is and what they're doing. Yep, pulling Heathcliff to the rear was the right call. I don't see any injuries. His team's still doing pretty well even without my directions. As for Roja, wait, did she just stuff all the pastries and bread she brought into her pockets? How did she manage that with the huge baguette? I noticed this group, let's see, looks like they joined up the LCD team without any issues. LCD, then that guy over there must be, hang on. There's a dude I've seen before, but he looks a bit different, from what I remember. Could you specify the issue? I'm monitoring the situation right now. We should probably join up with them too. Let's end the consultation here. This is rather perceptive. Perceptus, Dante. If the incident is of a serious nature, perhaps the request for support is from the LCC. No, it's not an incident. Though I wouldn't say it's not serious. Oh, wait. Are they gonna be the only ones I can grab because everyone else is busy doing stuff? Oh no. Rendezvous. This is going bad to worse, really. Dante seems to be tied up helping the other groups. Dante, Otis's command calls have been working out well. I'll give her that. We've managed to hold the line better than expected, but we're definitely starting to feel the strain. Why are you waving your hand all of arm and hand signals? What signals? We're swinging the arm sideways even supposed to mean. You don't know? It's scatter, damn it. So scatter. Crash. That was close. We almost got flattened. Damn it. Even rookies with nothing but the most rudimentary of military training would have recognized a hand signal that basic. We're not trained soldiers, are we? Verily, the flourish of a single hand doth indeed make boast of chivalric elegance. Yet when thou suddenly waveth thine arm about, clenching and unclenching thine hand in that mystical fashion, only to suddenly turn tail, forsooth, I am left bereft of understanding what thou meanst to say. I think that all of the personnel in the team, only this swabby has the discipline to interpret a basic field signal. I only picked it up during my sailing days. And realistically speaking, did you really expect ordinary people like the others to understand professional military signs? This is unacceptable. After the operation, all of you have been employed under my lead. You're still ignorant when it comes to nonverbal signals. I don't think even Dante would know those signals. Yeah, might as well be like splitting hairs, literally. Let us appease our agitated hearts and follow Miss Otis's instructions. We should disperse and withdraw. Megaton landing! Hey, pretty cool, huh? Let's face it, I know how to make one heck of an entrance. Oh, aren't you supposed to be cleaning up the distortions upstairs? Oh, fit in a million years ago. You guys were taking forever, so I figured I'd take a peek and lend a hand. You're welcome. Split by your thundering descent, the floor's form and shape are now crisp beyond mending, sunken deep enough to be likened to the impact of inception of a wellspring. Yeah, don't worry your head about it. That's all after teams to take care of. Anyway, that should be all of them, right? The force of your line neutralizes the last distortions outside the building. Great. Can you check on the distorted people's faces and clothing? Their faces are all segmented, making my skin crawl, not a pleasant sight. As for their attire, this one appears to be a sweeper, and that one yonder bears the attire of an ordinary fixer. The distortion I landed on probably local resident, judging by the clothing. Did any of that? Have you happen to see anything nearby bursting with a big pop and flash? Nay, not once. Okie dokie. You know what? Then let's all head upstairs. The suppression request is kind of pain. We'll need to put together a nice, neat plan before we start poking it too hard. The plan, thou wouldst say? How was this not a mere matter of slaying distortions where they stand? Did no one brief you? This has often been the structure of our assignments. We are given instructions to perform, and then only afterwards do we begin to perceive the nature and contour of the task of which we have committed our hand. Really? I guess every department has its own way of doing things. No big deal. I'll explain everything once we're upstairs. Oh, by the way, you didn't get to meet the whole team last time, did you? Only our new girl? This time, that dude, I mean, Mr. Bamboo-Hatted Kim is also here, so... He's okay now? Huh, sure is. You'll be surprised once you see just how okay he is now. Yeah, baby! The last time you said he was still under treatment. To be precise, I believe Miss Angdu stated that his mind is yet to regain its former tranquility. Ah, that. You'll get it once you see him. I feel like we'll just end up having the same conversation twice if I say anything about it now. Ah, you've arrived. It's blinding. So bright. The midday sun is pouring in like crazy. Yet the warm tickle of the sunbeam is rather agreeable. No, that is not sunlight. Because unlike this, there is more to the sunshine than its warmth. And what exactly is this light? Why is this thing on again? It's bright enough to fry my eyeballs. Apologies, Lady Ezra. I'm yet to be accustomed to this machine. It's my first time laying a hand upon the complicated workings of such a contraption. It activated of its own accord, and I've yet to discover the method by which it may be silenced. That's why I told you to leave it alone. Fiddling things you don't understand usually ends with something, or you broken. Nothing good comes of it, I tell you. Mentor, Lady Moses had instructed me that in every moment and event clues are hidden under the veil of one's surroundings and must be examined with care. Yes, and that only works if you're savvy about the knack. Hang on, did you just say mentor? I had not yet been afforded a proper opportunity to introduce him to you. This here is the esteemed leader of the Blade lineage, who is all but a master under whom I have apprenticed. Do you really have to dress it up like that? I told you I only took on the role because there wasn't anyone else around to take the job. Switch. Where's the switch? Ah, gotcha. Click. Yay! Goodness. Known as Bamboo-Hatted Kim. Yes, that's me. Oh! Ha! Guess I should say pleased to meet you, folks. That's hilarious. Ha! You think he's on the left, but no, it's the guy on the right here. So we're gonna zoom in so you can extra tell it's him. Search for the inflection point. That's pretty good. It's like on a stand or something. Okay, so more often than not, first impressions are prone to change. Bamboo-Hatted Kim, I remember, was a man who drowned in his own fathoms, blaming himself for his powerlessness, with a listless, heavy voice. That, however, had been while he was distorted and sunken into himself. So I figured his original personality might be somewhat different. But this is not just somewhat. His personality isn't even in the same ballpark as my expectation. You're telling me this guy here is Bamboo-Hatted Kim? Yep, we double-checked with Ezra, and she said he really is the same guy. God, it looks so weird. Whoa, that fire in your head's not hot at all. Fascinating stuff. Can we check again, just in case? I really can't wrap my head around the fact that this is the sullen, serious man whom we'd fought. Just look at what he's doing. He's rubbing my face all over like he's checking out some kind of mantelpiece ornament. Lots of ticking and talking going on. That's supposed to sound like them talking to you folks, huh? Further confirmation would be redundant, Dante. This individual is conclusively identical to the one designated as Bamboo-Hatted Kim. I've got no idea what you folks are so suspicious about. Dang, dude, just what exactly have you been telling people out there about me? They're all staring like they've seen a ghost. I told them you are a gallant and formidable warrior, Mentor. But they don't look like they've heard the most flattering things about me. There, don't you hear it? The faint undercurrent of disappointment in the ticking? I told them that you are a man of few words, but with much affection for the followers under your command. Angdu. Yes, Mentor? That's a complete and utter lie. Man of few words is definitely not something you can say about a guy who's as talkative as me, don't you think? Yet I spoke no falsehood, although your conduct is rather shallow and perhaps less refined for a leader of the organization. You are much more reserved and taciturn than when conversing with those unfamiliar to you, are you not? No matter who one may be, one is bound to inspire either approval or disapproval from those around him, so I refrained from mentioning any truth that might invite the latter. To even hint at anything that might tarnish the reputation of my master would be like spitting on his name, and mine by extension. I simply had no reason to put on airs in front of my own folks. In any case. Oh, so you can't see anything if I block this part, Do tell, how many fingers am I holding up? Those are not my eyes, you know. Your own folks, huh? Then you have already acknowledged and accepted that you are now belong to Limbus Company. Where are they getting a custom from? What? I can read. Why didst thou not pay a visit to LCE? Verily, when one's mind is plagued by the absence of tranquility, venturing north into the open air and touchable field of grass clears the storm of the heart. An asset of the company is expected to act in the company's interests. Yet, for whatever reason, I didn't see you fighting on the field of battle during Operation Spider Fire. You will have to account for your absence in the mission. Otis addressed Kim as though she were conducting a formal investigation, every word flat and hard. It was obvious she was not about to let her guard down anytime soon. What mission? Oh, that one. Kim finally seemed inclined to assume a more serious disposition. He stopped peering into my face and turned toward Otis, although his hand was still on my head. Alright, clearly there's some disconnect in expectation here. Listen here, you. It's really hard. It's really not all that about hard, bothersome work. Get what I mean? The real disconnect was between his stoic expression and the words coming out of his mouth. What? So let's talk about the kind of fellow I am. Meet the resident layabout, who's forced to do his job, with a frown too, I might add, only when he's got absolutely no other choice. I'm really not some big shot Ang who's apparently been promoting me as, folks. I'd very much like to stop getting roped into stuff that keeps putting my life on the line. Fine, then why did you join the LCD in the first place? If you'd rather be unemployed. No, never mind. You'd probably be forced to stay. You catch on quick. First, they spout this nonsense about distortions and all, and then force hired me, calling me a company-owned resource, or whatever. And the other day, they were again on about, what's his name? Golden Bow? Yeah, they invited me on a tour to another department to listen in on some important presentation. And I accepted. I thought it would be a fine opportunity to broaden my perspective. Angdu, dear, there are times when your commitment to duty shine brighter than the sun. I find that attitude so dazzling, yet I have to squint when I'm looking at you. Who knows, maybe that's why I'm wearing this bamboo hat, to shade my eyes from your utter brilliance. Do you mean to say that you are in need of a shield to protect your eyes? Lady Ezra, my request for a pair of sunglasses for my mentor. Only if it's not too much of an imposition on the budget, that is. That would be hilarious. That right there. That's what I keep telling you not to do. You can't just say yes to every silly thing he says and turn it into a sudden supply request. Small expenses add up a lot, you know. You gotta save up everything you can in the piggy bank while you still can, or you'll end up broke. Is there truly no room for consideration? No means no. Then pray make the purchase for me. I should recover the cost myself. No can do. Wait, what? My poor mentor is in a state of great discomfort, yet I possess neither the wisdom nor the knowledge to navigate the silver tongue of merchants and the maze of stalls to locate the very best items, so I would beg this favor of you. You're giving me a freaking headache, girl. I'm aware that you and yours are no strangers to such dealings. There's no one else I could trust to complete such a procurement with the swiftness of the wind. You know what? Never mind what I said. I'll just get you what you want. You're the gentle lady, mentor. Your suffering shall soon be alleviated. Alright. Apologies for interrupting you in a mid-conversation. Pray continue. You have reached the part where thine invited you to tour another apartment. No sooner Angdu's words left her lips than her eyes glinted with something I couldn't really put my finger on, but it was a strange intensity that sent a chill down my spine. Yeah, so that day I was just gonna relax here and watch some TV. Well, good on you for showing up to work today, I guess. Let's say there's a debt to be repaid. At least you understand that we are indeed indebted to the company. Yeah, I suppose I do. Kim's gaze lingered on Angdu's prosthetic arm as he answered, Oh, Miss Angdu, your arms. Soon after following Kim's gaze, did Sinclair seem to notice Angdu's brand new prosthetic arms. The last time we saw her, Angdu had lost both arms. I remember Ezra asking her to sit tight and choose what type of prosthetic she wanted. Those arms are probably it. Not just the arms, even her clothes are different now, and that sword. I had these arms fitted anew as soon as the operation was concluded. The glorious hosts in one of the LCD's teams had prepared them in advance. With evident satisfaction, Angdu held up her dark metallic wrists as if to showcase them. Components fixed along her arms clicked and rattled, unfolding for a moment before neatly folding back into place. Oh, such graceful smoothness, wed to machine articulation. 'Tis as though I am beholding the marvelous prosthesis of the illustrious Siegfried himself. Yep, the showcase would have gone lackluster without the trademark reaction. Those are strikingly similar to Schwartz Industries' N7 lineup, but I thought the model was discontinued. Nah, not theirs. It's one of the prototypes developed by the LCD's Phenomena Deciphering team, and they put them on her for trial. Doubt you'll find another like them. They're based on technology spun from distortions. Oh, I see. I see. For a brief moment, Sinclair's light up as he glimpsed something that brought him back to a memory. Then just as quickly he fell silent. Whatever he'd wanted to say never catching in his chest. Did something trouble you, Master Sinclair? It wasn't hard to understand what struck the tender memory for Sinclair, and why it cast a shadow over his face. But, sorry, just remembered. Reminded me of something from a long time ago. My dad used to work with prosthetics before he passed away. I thought this was the exact same model I saw back then. It appears I lacked tact. These arms have stirred a painful memory with you. For that I apologize. It's alright. I'm fine now. He still carried a faint tremor, but beneath it there was a firmness that had not been there before. He really had grown a great deal. You can thank yours truly for picking the sword. I was there with her. I did inform Lady Edgeworth that any blade that could serve as a weapon would suffice, but she insisted on browsing the goods. I dare say I was given the opportunity to lay my eyes on every type of sword I could hope to see in this life, walking through the workshop street that day. Oh, please, girl, we walked for just 4 hours. It's nothing. While everyone was distracted talking to Engdu's new outfit and equipment, Kim had quickly slipped away from the crowd and crouched down in a corner. He was rummaging through things scattered on the floor, picking them up. Is he pocketing them? Anyway, what is this place supposed to be? What are all these things? Basically a wreck now, but there are strobes and that cloth backdrop over there. Maybe it was used to be a photo studio? Oh, that could explain why there's so many photos stuck around the place. Probably. This thing definitely looks like a camera, at least. Sinclair picked up a small cylindrical object to turn it over in his hands, studying it with curiosity. What do you suppose this is? A battery, maybe? Ah, there's some kind of strap inside. Let me just pull it out. Or strip inside. Let me pull it out. No, that's... Otis shouted a sharp warning at Sinclair as if she had realized something. Mersault's hand shot up before you could even finish clasping up Sinclair's wrist before you could strip. The strip could be pulled out. What did I do? Exposure to sunlight damages these objects. I already pulled out a little bit, though. It can be rewound. Carefully rotate the rigid section on the cylinder. I'm currently blocking the sunlight from reaching the exposed section. Damage is no concern. Okay, you mean this one, right? This part that rotates? Yep, went back in. With a quiet nod, Mersault took the object from Sinclair's hand. Is that a film roll? Sure looks like it. There's something written on the outside. Experiment 4? Appears to be a compact roll for a film camera. I've seen it a few times before. You seem pretty used to handling it, Mersault. Correct. Mersault's answer came without any further explanation, but the way he adjusted the camera on the table certainly didn't look like that of a first-timer. Ooh. Mersault and Sinclair getting IDs of the enemies would be so cool for the redo. I once received a report containing photographs taken on film camera during the war. Film rolls used by N-Corp are particularly difficult to falsify. They were often used to collect intelligence during secret operations. The film fixes light directly into the medium, from what I've heard. A peculiar expression flashed across Ezra's face as she regarded Otis. Perhaps it was the mention of war that caught her attention. Anyway, we've managed to regroup in one place. Let's come up with a plan to deal with these distortions. Guys, where should we begin? Then in the next breath, she returned to her usual bubbly self and steered the conversation away from the subject. Both Ezra and I, we're We are both trying to be free of the misconception we inflict on ourselves. For all her unfailing perking disposition, Ezra too must be carrying traumatic memories, even every bit as devastating as Gregor's. Does there yet remain deserving illumination? Yeah, wait, you're right. Haven't we cleaned up the distortions already? I couldn't feel any nearby, and it didn't seem like any of the other center teams elsewhere were actively engaging in battle at the moment. Dante is asking whether the distortion suppression was not, in fact, already been concluded. Oh, not yet. These people we fought just now, they only got caught up in the distortion. They didn't actually distort themselves. We haven't even gotten close to the distortion's inflection point yet. Inflection point? Anywho, finding the inflection point without the team leader around is gonna take some time. Maybe it won't be too bad with your help. Ezra swept her eyes around the room with a look of frustration, as though she had just been handed a puzzle box with half the pieces missing. By inflection point, are you referring to the point on a graph in which the directionality of its curvature changes? Calling to mind the present context, it may less be a mathematical term and more of a specialized polyseme referring to the point at which distortions occur, the motive, intent, or indeed the point in which inflection of the mind occurs. Yep, that's about right. That's the kind of inflection point I was talking about. So in our department, we use that term to mean the source of a distortion, the inflector or cause behind it, stuff like that. You know, distortion's hard to treat if you don't know the core cause. Treat the symptoms you see on the surface all you like, but if you never find the root cause, the distortion's never getting solved. Though I guess you guys never really had to look for that kind of stuff, huh? Your boss clock opens the door into their fathoms or whatever, right? You mean Dungeon of the Fathoms? Yep, that's the one. From where we're standing, distortions are really high maintenance, time-consuming headaches. It's one thing to somehow manage to locate the inflection point, but curing it is another thing. If you guys can just march straight into someone's heart, knock the snot out of everything in there, and then ta-da, patient ready for discharge. That's how it works, right? Not gonna lie, I was so jealous when I heard about it. Almost spit my sleeves off. And here I thought you fellas handled it the same way we did. You know, giving them a good beating and starting from there. Of course not. Why would anyone come to us with a distortion suppression request if it were the simple in the first place? But yeah, most of the time peeps try brute force approaches to it first, and then things go south, they send requests to the company or our detective's office. That means the client this time must have been Jingo. Apparently the residents of Butter Street had all chipped in to commission all kinds of agencies like the ZVI and the Combat Specialized Fixtures offices, but none of them could actually do things right, and the job got passed on to us. Meaning the distortion phenomenon related to this kind of photograph is still occurring unchecked somewhere in the street. Exactly, that's why we gotta find anything that might count as a clue. As you gaze down at the people lying on the floor with a contemplated expression, neat ash gray suits and the logo on the collar of their uniforms and briefcase. Hey, isn't that N-Corp's logo? Kind of think of it, wasn't Mersal? I was once an employed by N-Corp. What, you used to work with these people? Yeah, he did mention that he worked for N-Corp. Maybe he can offer us some insight. Do you know who these guys are, Mersal? Yes, manager. They are N-Corp Class 2 staff members. Given the camera briefcases in their possession, they are likely members of the Pinframe Team of Service Des Klaus. Mersal recited the information as though he were pulling it from a file he had already sorted and placed in the back of the shelf in his mind. Okay, Pinframe Team, huh? Anything you can tell us about them? Yes. It is one of the N-Corp's many field departments related to information gathering and processing. Their primary duties include handling N-Corp's internal information, analyzing N-Corp's internal intelligence, and sorting and arranging N-Corp's internal information in intersector. That'd be enough. Whoa, is he a talking encyclopedia or something? Yeah, another thing to be jealous of. You think it'd be okay if we borrow him sometimes? Might be an issue for us if you just went and borrowed our team's encyclopedia. Looks like everyone agrees he's an encyclopedia, yes. Anyway, your encyclopedia is right. They're from N-Corp's Pinframe team. Seen them a few times before in N-Corp's nest. Why would people under already busy enough dealing with nest affairs come all the way to shabby backstreets like this? Got any guesses? I am unable to determine that. The possible range of connections between the two pieces of information exceedingly broad. Listing every relevant reason as to why they may have come here will require a considerable amount of time. Therefore, I will not present a determinative answer to that question. Huh? He's staring holes into an unspoken. Is this dude already always like this? Wouldn't pull any answers from me, you know. Because aside from combat situations, I've still got no way to figure out what's going on in his head. Okay, then result. Maybe this will be easier to answer from an objective point of view. And that was when I noticed something I'd never imagined would happen. Result's eyes widened, his gaze fixing me with such force that I could almost feel the faint tremor in it. A leveling stare that came with, there is no such thing as objective point of view. Ooh. Manager. A clipped tone and a look almost burdened with rebuke, bordering on rebuke. A given judgment may seem infinitely close subjectively, but ultimately things are subjective without exception. I fell silent for a moment, lost in thought. Part of it was because Mersault's reaction caught me off guard, but I also wondered whether this response might be connected to why he would always refuse to make judgments for himself. And if this has something to do with his turn, which I know is just around the corner. Got it. And tell me, 3 subjective reasons you think are most likely for why these people had to come all the way into the back streets. I need to understand who he actually is as much as I can. Because I'll never know when I'll get another chance to really get to know him if I brush this off with a simple, oh, I see, my bad, as usual. Yes, manager. I would presume that their mission was one or all of the following. Retrieval of a video recording or recordings in violation of NCORP's taboos. Prompt elimination of the violator. Contact with an informant in the back streets collaborating with NCORP's nest. Or identification and arrest of an unwanted individual or individuals designated by the nest. Taboo? You mean these people count as taboo hunters? Nah, no way. They don't send out taboo hunters for every single violation, you know. Like, wings usually leave minor taboo violations to handle by subcontracted fixer offices or employees of the department in charge. I say these guys here are NCORP staff. Miss Angdu, what are you looking at in their pockets? I am looking through their belongings for enlightening clues yet to be hidden in the sleeves or the folds of their garments. Lady Moses has been gifted with the art of discerning the truth from what lies before her, but with a single flash, yet my eyes are foreign to such a feat. I'm going to take a look to this employee card. Okay, this one's a wallet, so let's put that back. We don't want to be robbers. This might be an order missive. Ezra pulled a sheet of paper out from NCORP staff coat and read its contents aloud. Work details. Elimination of the individual of a Category 3 taboo violation. Address Butler Street. This is the place. Which means all of this might be pointing to something. Whoever used to work in the studio and the distortion phenomenon might be connected. Yeah, now that you mention it, when the whole pop and change thing happened, I did kind of feel like a camera flash. Alright, let's start by combing through this place. Let me know if you find anything suspicious. Oh, at long last has the hour arrived for my debut as detective, forsooth. Tanki must have been miffed at not getting to play detective back in T-Corp. No idea where she'd been keeping them, but she immediately pulled out the detective props she'd been given to Rodia, Ryoshu, and Honglu back then. Rarely had foreseen the day this would come. Fortunately, Otis wasted no time putting an end to Donkey. I can fucking read. Holy shit. Fortunately, Otis wasted no time putting an end to Don Quixote's badly timed shenanigan. A sharp dressing down from her was enough to make our dejected chivalric adventurer stuff the costume away. Okay then, we should get moving too. Oh, let her wear the costume! Come on. That's a shame. Fight time. Yup. Oh, I get Ishmael.
피가 범람할 시 망설임 없이.
응? 잠시 이것만 삼키고.
태어내겠습니다. 피가 범.
오케이. 이럴 것 같아서 대기 타고 있었지.
This is gonna suck, but what can you do? $20, $40, $60, $80, $100. Yeah. I know. Thank you. We spent a long while rifling through the photo studio with the LCD team, but no one found any decisive evidence. Why do I have 9 pings? What the hell? We spent a long time rifling through the photo studio with the LCD team, but no one found any decisive evidence. Sure, a lot of photos around, but almost all of them are just pictures of buildings. Nothing much more to tell from that. Aside from the canister containing the film roll Sinclair picked up, there are no remaining items here that count as proper clue, Executive Manager. I'm confirmed that the rest are all empty plastic containers. That's probably the best to check the contents of the film roll directly. Yes, Executive Manager. I'll find a way to develop the film. Did you guys find any sort of photo development room or equipment nearby? Let's search a little more before we start to see what's in the film roll. I'm not sure what you make of this object. For the 8th time, Angdu, I have no idea. I had wits bright enough to understand all what lies before me with a single glance. Like the team leader, I would have passed the royal examinations long ago and secured myself a lucrative position as a court official. Mentor, hadn't you already passed the royal? Once swung, a sword does not retrace its arc, Angdu. So it is with life. There is no undoing what has already been cut. Thus, it is unnecessary to dwell on what cannot no longer be undone. There is no after for what has been slashed away. Not for you, mentor. You not dwell on what can no longer be undone. I misspoke. I did not mean it that way, Angdu. I merely meant to say that I do not wish to recall my past. I am aware you have told me as much since long ago, whenever you were placed in a position to retrace the past. Mostly as at the eateries when you filled your belly on unpaid tabs. And each time you brought down the stone wall before our house by your own erring hand. Those are exactly the kind of things you should never forget. Ow, my belly. I feel a stabbing pain in my belly. The very wound you once gave me afflicts me yet. The one from when you thought you were only poking with a scabbard, yet by some cruel turn it was your sword that ran me through. Mentor, you said it was completely healed and that I need not concern myself with it. Those very same words have been repeated at least 80 times. We have ads in about 4 minutes on Twitch. If you don't want to see them, make sure you subscribe or have Twitch Turbo. It still aches every now and then, chiefly when I hear your sharp, cutting words that I really don't want to hear. Is that so? Angdu suddenly pulled out a sheet of paper and began furiously writing something down. What's this? I've written down the words that I have just said. If hearing my sharp, cutting words afflicts you so, perhaps reading them instead would cause no suffering. Angdu, you're great. You need to do this with Moses, not Kim. Kim's face began to contort like a wet dish towel being wrung dry. I really can't believe this is the same mentor Angdu follows so devotedly. Whereas all that dignity and forbearance Angdu said he had. Young Angdu, there is a matter I would like to ask thee. Apparently I wasn't the only one who felt that way about him. Pray speak freely. This may perhaps be a disconcertious inquiry, but I too, when speaking to others of those whom I serve, often ornament my words with a lamentation of acceptable degree, and yet I understand your concern, Lady Don Quixote. I suppose this is your first time seeing Mentor with his shoulders so unbraced and his bearing so loose. In truth, when I first beheld him, I was wondering whether such a man could truly be a leader worth placing my faith in. However, upon my honor, I assure you that I have never once uttered a falsehood when I spoke of him to you. My respect towards the blades of my own and folks alike, my determination to safeguard what must be protected, even should my arms be torn apart, all of these are undoubtedly the teachings that my mentors imparted onto me. Truly, why, if fortune should grant the opportunity, you may witness Mentor's true self yourselves someday. That is to say, if we let ourselves be carried by the currents of the river to arrive at such a chance. Angdu gave her prosthetic arm a casual sweep, smiling sincerely as though she truly believed every word she said. Then leaning closer to Don Quixote, she whispered, Besides, unless I speak with this feigned stern ignorance, there will be no end to his digging in his heels. I would ask for your trust, for all is aimed at his benefit. Forsooth, thou too hast been burdened with the trials of serving your superior. So that's what it was. I get it. They look awesome. I love this. Just as I witnessed the budding of this peculiar bond of commiseration and camaraderie between our chivalric friends, the door leading outside was flung open with a loud slam. We have around target notification. It appears that the advanced party has already been defeated. Wait, who are these people? Didn't they say there was only a single violator? Oh, crap. Looks like too late to talk our way out of this, whatever excuse we come up with. Oh boy, this is not gonna go well. Same thing happened last time. When I saw the incorporate blades, I thought we had wrong intel. And all of a sudden... A sudden flash blinded my white vision, as though I had stared straight into a burst of searing light, so intense and bright that it made my head swim. Yeah, there was the same pop, and With my vision blinded, the only thing I could make out was Ezra's soft murmur, until even that came to a stop as her breathing hushed. Oh, it didn't take long for me to realize what happened. Seeing it again doesn't exactly warm the heart, wouldn't you say, Engdu? Though escort may indeed be passing through hard times, this alley was not quite so wretched in form as it meant her. Is that right? Looks much the same to me. This place. Did we get teleported to Escort? No, Dante. Generates a considerable amount of verisimilitude. This is... I think I know what this is. This is a presence. I haven't been able to detect it until just now. Somehow it was now surrounding us, saturating every corner of the space where we stood. The dreary stone walls, trees bent and coiled in grotesque forms, the sheen of the light, and even the air we breathe, all of it point towards a single phenomenon. This is the depths of the fathoms. Fathoms made entirely out of distortion. There are completely different distortions where the Encorping plays were just a moment ago, executive matter. This is exactly it. This is what I was trying to explain. Huh. Where Ezra pointed, the people in smart nest suits had vanished. In their place, figures clad in blood-stained depot robes were approaching us with dragging uneasy steps. Right, let's fight first, talk later, right, Engdu? Blaze poised to strike Lady Ezra. And wait, where's Bamboo Hatitude? I'm afraid he has already taken his leave. He said he had no desire to cross blades with the Chicos of Escort twice. Oh man, not again. He's a repeat offender, that's for certain. Executive manager. Whoever Kim's gone off to, this definitely isn't time to ask trivial questions. Right, let's do what Ezra says and get ready for battle. On your order, executive manager. Prepare for battle! Yeah, baby! Interesting. Bind and incapacitate.
검은 아직 벼려 있어. 제 검을 믿어주세요.
This is good music. Head splitting imagery. Interesting effect name. Honestly, it's pretty hilarious that he is not a fighter at all. Splitting memory, sorry.
어중간한 연민이 이런 불필요한 고통을 가져오는 거야. 목숨을 거두려 했다면 머리를 베었어야지.
Gain 1 blind next turn, maximum of 1. Gain current turn count divided by 4, clash power up. Expires at turn end. It's unit inflicted with trust on target. Unit inflicted trust on target. Gain prisoner transport arrangement. Fix this unit speed to 1. Interesting.
랜덤 4월을 건다.
That's fine.
침착한 결과에 최선의 방어를. 너희가 걸어야 할 수라의 길. 여전히 그 끝이 보이지 않는 멀고 또 멀고.
제 검을 믿어주세요. 제 검을 믿어주세요. 랜덤 4월을 건다.
This is gonna be really funny because it's gonna level up the low level Blade lineage IDs I haven't used since like the start of the game a lot.
지켜주지 못해 미안하다는 말만큼 공허한 말도 없을 거야. 그 말은 결국 지켜내지 못했다는 뜻이거든.
죄를 새겨주겠어.
This is some good shit.
길. 여전히 그 끝이 보이지 않는 만큼 또 멀고.
There we go.
재혼했어요.
우와, 지금 완전 삼촌들이랑 고무대 같았어. 어릴 땐 몰랐어. 왜 엄마가 삼촌들이랑 말도 못 섞게 했는지. 그 외부 강사도 손가락 안에서도 내로라 하는 실력자들이었을 거야. 너희가 보여준 혹은 더 대단한 기술을 매번 엄마에게 가르쳐줬거든.
위험인물 발견. 제압할게. 아름다운 것. 그렇지 않은 것.
이 구속구가 나의 폭력을 저지하기엔 턱없이 모자르지.
확실하게 갈라지는 감각이었네.
I know I'm not getting the 10 turn reward for this. That's fine.
그 끝이 보이지 않는 만큼
Honestly, do not care. This shit's great.
확실하게 갈라지는 감각이었네.
Yeah, baby.
아마도 이런 날이었을 거야.
망설임이
나보다 먼저
없도록.
엄마가 집에 돌아오는 날. 학교 마치고 집에 돌아왔을 때
Can't believe we actually got it in 10 turns. This is amazing.
그 울림에 신이 나던 머리가 쪼개지지. 지금처럼 엄마와 함께
Thank you, Ezra and Angdu. You helped carry. This should be all of them. Surveying the area with measured alert, Angdu casts the blood from his sword with a few sharp flicks before sliding it back to its sheath. They're not changing back. Doesn't look like beating up the distorted ones reverts them immediately this time around. Perhaps a fortunate turn of events in a way. Let us search for clues while time allows us. Right. You take that side, I'll search here. Ezra and Angdu moved around about as though they were used to this kind of situation, while even taking a moment to catch their breaths after the battle, began searching the space. Really? Don Quixote was the first one to voice her doubt in the surreal, unfamiliar situation we found ourselves in. We battled distortions upon our arrival hither, yet never before have we beheld our surroundings changed with so sudden a flash. Really, I cannot make such a situation. Couldst thou render a detailed account of this distortion phenomenon? Apologies. It would appear I overlooked that the briefing due to the urgency of this predicament. This is, according to the definition present by Lady Moses, a location-type distortion. It's basically when a whole space distorts, and since places and buildings can't move on their own, the distortion gets fixed in a certain space. As for this one, it looks like the distortion's already progressed pretty far along. Middle stage, probably. They don't usually get this big, but this one here is covering almost an entire street. And those people, they entered this space and got caught up in it. Our job right now is to get to the bottom of the phenomenon. What exactly gets people caught up and what happens to them upon their entering? Of course, we can't really rule out the possibility of powerful distortion that's encroaching upon this environment. Oh, by that I mean it's when distortion bleeds into the space around it and warps it. Oh man, I'm actually talking like our team leader. Rubbing off on me, I guess. As we continue with a sheepish grin. In any case, we won't be able to suppress or cure the distortion even if we whop these guys' asses 100 times. We need more clues to help us locate the inflection point. Maybe we should examine these people over here too? The call Ezra directed our attention to rows of collapsed people all around, all of them clad in draped robes. Dopo robes. And these are the glyph emblazoned upon their headbands to bespeaks propulsion and pursuit. It marks them as a Shukokun, functionaries charged with scouring and hunting runaway nobis. You hail from the homeland we do? You hail from the homeland as we do. I'm unsurprised that you know of them. I could hardly fail to know, for I too was once enumerated among their quarry. Scientists and technicians were daily being disposed of their stations in S-Corp, after all. So it was no idle tale. Scientists who plied their craft without fattening S-Corp's coffers are seized forthwith and made nobis of the corporation. Indeed, I count myself fortunate to have absconded with my friends across the afore the brand of Nobai could be impressed upon us. Otherwise, Nobai, the wretched appellation conferred upon the people for the convenience of those in power, a vile practice and excuse for their power mongering. Nothing more. The so-called taboo hunters of S-Corp operate by much the same anatomy. Does the breaching of a taboo summon the hunter, or does the hunter first seize his prey, to thereafter frame the captured with invested transgression? If the powerful so desire to chase a man down, to take possession of his very being and keep him caged, then they need only decree that he should bear the lot of a nobai, such is what S-Corp has become today. The mentor, too, is one of the victims of that accursed practice. Then could these people have been sent out to capture your mentor, are you saying? Or me, perhaps, but none of us. You mean to state that they may be conceptual forms of shokan generated by distortion? That is a plausible conjecture. You're getting nowhere! With a heavy sigh, Otis pressed her fingers against her brow as her head were starting to pound in frustration. To delve further into the matter, it is necessary to determine why the S-Corp and his Chokans have appeared as the motif of this phenomenon. Considering the course of events we have seen so far, would it not stand to reason that the distortion stains all nearby things with memories most foul? The presence of Shokan suggests a possible correspondence to Yi-Sang's memories. Conversely, however, the absence of T-Corp's time collectors weakens that hypothesis. In which case, the most plausible theory is that this particular distortion could have stemmed from Bamboohead Kim or Engdu's memories. Engdu furrowed her brow and fell into thought, as though she couldn't grasp the full picture of the problem. I've seen a few distortions that show trauma or affect their surroundings. This one? I'm not getting that pop of inspiration. Couldn't even guess what this distortion wants, either. The white flash of light suddenly drowned my vision again as Ezra clutched her head and cried out with annoyance. If only the team leader were here, cracking this would have been a piece of cake. And we're back, so this is why you kept asking where we'd seen anything bursting with a pop. Any corp employees must have it rough too, getting dragged into distortion like this. I mean, what else were we supposed to do? It was self-defense. They were about to attack us. I suppose finding the root cause and taking care of it would be the fastest way forward. Let's just do what we came for now. Okay, first we need to develop the film we found here. We need to head to the nearest dark room, and now actually let's first drag that slippery half wearing clot back here and get him talking about the shoguns. That's probably our best deal. Every time we take a job, the slacker just slips off without telling anyone. As one part of me watched Ezra stamp her feet in frustration, I was also carefully following Heathcliff's team through the other part of my vision. Well, I think I can help with that. Have you located him? Oh, what? Flash Clock found something? Yep, found where the Ben Hadji Kim is right now. Ha 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 ha.
승부수가 먹히고
Yeah, baby!
판세는 완벽히 우
Yeah. 58 experience.
이 기세를 잃지
We're already a third of the way through? There's not a lot of combats in here, is there? Holy. Film. Oh, everybody. Okay.
자유로워지.
지위를 받는 거? 어디서?
독재팀의 협조가 필요한 거지.
화점에 두지.
이 경로는
They're all on the team, so I still get the bonus. Meanwhile, Heathcliff's team. Howdy hell, what's up to these gits? They're showing up out of nowhere. How should I know? Best judging by their get up, they seem like escort fellas. Things were going so well. We could have talked it out with those fedora guys who were rummaging around the place earlier, you know? But no, you just had to go barking at them first. Who would have saved us a whole lot of trouble if you hadn't, right? Oh, so it's my fault. Those bastards looked like they were nicking stuff. This is our contract area, ain't it? If they walk off with something important, we'd be the ones catching hell. Listen, bud, not everyone's itching to swipe hair coupons into their pockets the second they get the chance. Oh, for how many bloody months are you not gonna milk that? Excuse me. What, you got a problem with me too, mate? No, not at all. Just wondering whether that gentleman over there is also one of our enemies. Is that the end of your troop performance? Shame. I was really enjoying watching you folks dance. Might have mistaken this place for the Peach Blossom Land of Legend had there been a cup of fine rice wine to go with it. Yeah, that's an enemy, alright. He has a name tag, though. I think it says LCD. LCD or whatever. Who gives a toss? Am I supposed to put up with every bastard having a dig at me, T? Oh, dear. Such bold swings. Didn't know there was an encore for that performance. Huh. Simply a little rat. Well, I do find this amusing enough, but if you intend to play with me, you ought to be more aware of your surroundings. Behind you, there's... Wow, he took out all of those dopo-wearing people with just a single strike. I say that about covers the price of admittance to your troop circus, wouldn't you? Well then, I'll leave the rest to you folks. Wandering blades and merman tails never linger on the stage for long, after all. Oi, where the hell do you think you're going? God damn it. Come back here, you piece of shit!
누가 화났을 땐 이렇게 숨소리도 내지 말고 숨어 있어야 해.
I wonder if this is gonna turn into a revive people mechanic. Like,
쪽일지 잘 생각해보라고.
because they're being brought from somewhere else and they have no personality right now.
한 점만 노린다.
Ching. So maybe it'll be like they can each come back once, but they're put at the end of the backup order.
엄마는 무기라면 뭐든 잘 다뤘어. 그중 제일 뛰어난 게 검이었고.
타겟 포착.
요료슈쿠! 엄마가 만반잘부는 싫다고 해서 내가 만들어준 인사말이야. 요슈니까 요료슈쿠!
That's better.
지금 완전 삼촌들이랑 공호대 같았어.
Whoa. Whoa.
이루어질 수 없는 희망.
Icy N-Corp Class 2 Staff.
모두 나의
Redicant N-Course 2 Staff.
적이 걷는 도움 또한
And frame subject weighted bash. Interesting. I love this background. That's fun.
깔끔하게 물었군.
어릴 땐 몰랐어. 왜 엄마가
와리를 튼
삼촌들이랑
근처에
말도 못 섞게 했는지.
오지 말랬잖아.
그 외부 강사들 손가락 안에서도 내로라 하는 실력자들이었을 거야.
Not too bad.
너희가 보여준 혹은 더 대단한 기술을 매번 엄마에게 가르쳐줬거든.
Certainly is fun.
강사들 손가락 안에서도 내로라 하는 실력자들이었을 거야. 너희가 보여준 혹은 더 대단한 기술이 매번 엄마에게 감춰졌거든.
You're not getting it.
먼저 빠진다.
어릴 땐 몰랐어. 왜 엄마가 삼촌들이랑 말도 못 섞게 했는지. 그 외부 강사들 손가락 안에서도 내로라 하는 실력자들이었을 거야. 너희가 보여준 혹은 더 대단한 기술이 매번 엄마에게 감춰졌거든.
Do some good shit.
어릴 땐 몰랐어. 왜 엄마가 삼촌들이랑 말도 못 섞게 했는지. 지금처럼 엄마와 함께 이곳저곳
So let me get this straight. Dude was here just a minute ago, and now nobody knows where he wandered off to. Yeah, Bloke just turned up out of nowhere, flapped his gums, then did a runner before anyone could grab him. Ezra let out a long, listless sigh as though she was getting sick and tired of every complaint, even complaining about Kim. Lady Ezra, I cannot say your frustration is misplaced, yet I trust you are also aware that more often than not, Mentor's actions have carried a profound design. He has never left his post without purpose so far. No, I get it, okay? But come on, would it kill him to give us a heads up before he goes zooming off on his own again? Not like we'd stop him. What are we gonna do? Tie him up? Lock him up in a closet? We don't do that in our team, right? Remember last time? We all thought he was being a good patient and sleeping it off in the recovery ward, but nope. When the LCD got infiltrated, he snuck out without telling anyone and came back like nothing happened. And the team leader didn't even chew him out for that. That's... Oopsie, wasn't supposed to mention that, was I? Then the reason he failed to participate in the operation was simply because the LCD was lax in supervising its personnel. Is that what you're suggesting? Lazy Moses bade us hold our tongues for this very reason. She knew full well Mentor's intentions would be misunderstood in precisely such a manner. What part of this have I misunderstood? Did you not just disclose that the man deserted his post without authorization? That's the thing. He wasn't just wandering around. He was outside, all alone, taking down the ring out of mannequins who'd locked down the elevator that leads to the LCD department. Yes, it's not like he was dealing with the strongest enemy out there, but the recovery ward didn't have an emergency alarm, and nobody from the department was there to warn him either. He somehow just caught on and did the job himself. Huh. Heard it all thanks to him that the facilities team managed to get the comms back up and contact LCE chief to way faster. And what helped the LCA to eventually deploy. They would have been delayed for another hour or two if he hadn't stepped in, apparently. He went fighting even though he still wasn't fully recovered. So he came back looking like he'd been processed through a meat grinder. So yeah, he did end up staying in bed like a good patient, in a lot of pain. Ahem. Then the soldier is not entirely deserving of reproach. Nope, he's the less talking, more doing type, I guess. Anyway, we were all stuck inside the building back then during the incident, so fine. Suppose there was no helping. Today, though, never mind. See, though, never mind. It's always with this with him. He always slips away and pops back up saying it's done. The point is, what happened if one day one of those solo missions doesn't go his way and he just drops dead in the street somewhere? How are we supposed to help him then? Actually, how does he even know that what's supposed to be done in the first place when no one gives him any instructions? Bloke's got to be relying on his gut feeling, innit? Gut feeling? Look, I only say the bloke saw a bloke for a blick, so... Look, I only saw the bloke for a bit, but I can't say I got him all figured out. But he's an annoying bastard. He didn't strike me as some clueless sod who doesn't know where he's stepping. Heathcliff scratched at his chin, then kept talking as though he were stating an obvious fact. Today's proof enough. He's not one of us, so Clockhead couldn't have reached him from that far and sent him to back us up. And there's no way he just happened to run into us just when we were about to get into battle, in it. Then, well, could the bloke's got some stupidly sharp head on him and piece things together? Could be that. But I've got these moments when I get a flash of that gut feeling, however you want to call it. My boss man, Matthew, said he could hear that kind of shite too. Said, I can hear them gears turning, or I think I hear rats scurrying around. He'd do things you couldn't make heads or tails of. Listen, there was this one time when we were expecting a life and death fight. Matthew says he can hear them gears turning, walks into a random pub, starts throwing back drinks that he'd lost his bloody mind. Does that so sound like someone that's lost his bloody mind? Back when I was on the ship, some sailors used to drink the barrel dry before battling whales to blunt their fear, only to stumble around on the deck and fall overboard. Yeah, and boss could knock it back like a whale. So the point is, getting plastered right before turf war is not the most sane people would call a good idea. Had us all crossed, so we went stomping after him. And guess what? Turns out that pub was a secret hideout where the opposing syndicate was holed up. They were crowding around the gaffers, running their mouths about how they'll kill them and put an end to the dead rabbits. That's when we came storming in and had them surrounded instead. Not a single one of them got away. We beat them bloody every last bastard, and boss knew it'd play that way. Sorry, but this really sounds like Barzool bragging to me. You sure that wasn't a coincidence? I should think it was no mere coincidence. You're saying as much, that surely this was but one amongst many such coincidences. Is that not so? Sorry, folks. Yeah, every time Matthew pulled one of those stunts, our lot ended up growing bigger. Wouldn't have kept working so neatly if it was just a coincidence. It is likely what is often referred to as indeed an instinctive sense or experience-based precognition. More accurately, an unconscious process by which information accumulated in the subconscious is sorted and converted into sensible conclusions. There have been some extremely rare cases in which Heathcliff has demonstrated the ability to arrive at coherent conclusions that surprise even Faust. On further analysis, it would appear that he has employed a mechanism similar to his sixth sense, as some people call it. Is that a compliment, or are you taking the piss out of me? Though my mentor does not see fit to explain each step he takes, when all is past, I often find that no footfall of his was taken in vain. I would ask of you, grant him but a little time and wait. Keep waiting, and the shape of the intent may yet become clear. Though I confess I have also been concerned about him of late. His recent silence heavier than what I've noticed in the past. To wait. Don Quixote began, hesitated, then stopped herself from saying more. She only gave a quiet nod. Yeah, okay. I suppose our team leader has her own reasons for letting him be. That said, doesn't mean I'm happy about it. Let's return to the task at hand and do what we can for now. Fine, fine. As the others quieted down, I finally had room to notice the place we found ourselves in. There wasn't a single ray of sunshine, just a deep red hue pressing on every side. I can't believe we've been chatting away in the dark this whole time, fellas, and the red lights aren't helping at all, especially with my aging eyes. Oh, are you looking for the light switch? It's right here. And right then, don't turn on the light. I heard Marcel's clipped words, his voice coming from a corner I didn't expect to find. Marcel, where are you? Ah, there he is, the corner. Is he washing something? I'm developing the film roll, manager. Exposure to light might ruin the entire roll. Please exercise caution. So he'd been doing his own thing. That explains why he was quiet all along. Huh? Didn't think you'd know how to print photographs, pal. What's that for anyway? You expressed the wish to view the film developed, manager. I'm carrying out the instruction. I see. Photos to you first, and now darkroom. This may be no more than a conjecture, but it would not be unreasonable to suppose that the axis of the distortion rests as a photographer. The film's serial numbers either match those found in the photo studio or deviate by only a single digit. It is certain that this darkroom is connected to the studio in some way. The images bear a striking resemblance to these photographs. I also believe this building and the photo studio share a strong connection. Oh, where did you get those photos? I brought some from the photo studio. I cannot name the locations in the pictures with certainty, yet they all appear to have been taken at various places in N-Corp's districts, buildings mostly. Hey, wait, I know what these are. People take pictures like these when there's implying stuff to that department store. Correct, the photos must have been taken by a docographer. Marcel chimed in, holding up an old cylinder container in his hand again. He gave the container a shake every now and then with a measured rhythm. Whatever he was doing seemed to be part of the process of developing the film. Film rolls are hardly affordable for the average resident of N-Corp. In most cases, taking photographs is done as part of professional duties. There are approximately 21 occupations in District 14 that utilize photography. However, only a single profession involves routinely photographing specific buildings, adhering to fixed standards that can be observed in these pictures. And these docugraphers you mentioned are the people entrusted with that job? Yes, they photograph the information to be poured into canned experience. Aha! A docugrapher. How could a person of such a decent, lucrative profession fall into distortion? Decent job, maybe, but how do we know if they're a decent person? Ezra replied with a clear-cut answer after only a brief pause. What makes you say that? The photo studio we were at didn't have any dark rooms, right? No, it didn't. Team leader said there was other ways of processing film rolls, but in N-Corp, you have to go to a darkroom to develop and print them. Correct. Film rolls are usually immersed in developer's solution to be processed. Which is why photo studios have these darkrooms equipped with red safe lights right next to them. This place, it's pretty far from that photo studio. Yeah? Huh? Yeah, now that you mention it. Check out these windows. They're only covered in newspapers, all messy like. If you consider how sensitive film rolls are to light, it's pretty superstitious that this darkroom doesn't have any proper blackout panels. And you know film can cost a fortune in some places in the city, right? Who in their right mind would print photos in a room patched up with yesterday's newspaper? Oh. This probably isn't even a legit darkroom. Someone just hauled in the bare minimum tools needed to develop film and threw them together in a hurry. Someone who didn't want to be seen printing photos, and people didn't usually avoid scrutiny unless they're doing something not so decent. If that's the case, then I can see why they might have distorted. Right, manager? Well, Mersault came to my side quietly. still giving the strange cylinder the occasional shake. I have a request regarding your instruction to develop this film roll. What is it? Please ensure that the light of this in this room is not turned on until development is complete. Aren't we already doing that? Yes, however, engaging in battles opens the door to uncontrollable variables. This is why I have judged it necessary to make a separate request. Battle? There is no need for concern. I am capable of participating in combat while maintaining the development process. Wait, can you slow down? Battle, you say? Surely there must be some... There must be cause for you to believe so. The photo studio reinforcements... At the photo studio, reinforcements arrived exactly 11 minutes and 34 seconds after Encore Pinframe team staff were defeated. Deductions based on the events thus far make it clear that the photo studio and this dark room share some kind of connection. Furthermore, Sinner Heathcliff, Hong Lu, and Sinner Gregor have battled Encore Pinframe team in this very location. I heard footsteps rushing the staircase, approaching closer and closer. I'm feeling I know what result's going at, but I ask anyway. Meaning, the initial rinse is finished. The process is now halfway to the completion of the second agitation. This indicates the 11 minutes 30 seconds have elapsed since the start of development. Battle is imminent. Please withdraw to a safe position, manager. Result, you should have warned us earlier. Understood, manager. I'll follow the instruction going forward. Tell us where things are happening earlier, you fuck! Ah! No, you idiot.
예전보다 많이 나아진 것 같다. 나도. 그러고 보니까 그 환상체
Are we skipping? Something sits ill with me. Amid a distorted sprawl of escorts backstreets, Angdu had her gaze fixed somewhere high overhead. And at the end of her gaze, are those photographs? A long line stretched across the open air, photographers hanging from it like laundry clipped to a clothesline. I mistook it for a wandering rope at first and gave it little attention. Yet upon closer look, I saw these pictures hanging from the line. Perhaps they had been strung within the dark room and remained with us with the distortion took hold. Bizarre observation of unaffected elements in the space occupied by location-type distortion is most irregular. Indeed, the items we bore into the studio have already changed into items of various sites of S-Corp, yet these alone remain as they were. Let's take them down and check them ourselves. Just I was wondering if the line was perhaps too high for me to reach. Mersault stepped forward and plucked a few photos off it. He instantly brought them to me. With another pop, and again a bright white flash blinded my vision for a moment. Good grief, this distortion looks like to change its mind, huh? It keeps switching between S-Corp and N-Corp. It's like getting caught in a flashbang detonation. My whole body tenses up, then goes slack right after. The other sinners were busy grumbling about the distortion in his unjust, except for Mersault, who stood right in front of me with the photo still held out in his hand. Oh, you didn't drop them? No. He gave his usual short answer that returned his attention to the cylinder he had been shaking. He took the film out of the container and flicked the liquid off with clean controlled motions. Is the processing finally done? Wait, we're back here with lights on. Is that okay for the film out? Yes, exposure to light will not damage the film once development is complete and the image is fixed. There's no cause for concern. Let us a relief. I couldn't say I followed all the technical details, but no cause for concern was all I needed to hear. Sighing in relief, I held up the photographs so I could take a proper look. So, see anything odd in there, Manager Bud? There are people in them. The people in the photographs all looked different from one another. If I had to pick one similarity between them, though, they all looked cold and indifferent. Yeah, that's the city, alright. Ordinary folks you'd see anywhere. These aren't like the photos you picked up at the studio earlier. Are these the kind of photographs they can use to make canned experience? The scenery around us rippled now. Was about to ask Father if he'd also felt a strange sensation, but it faded away soon enough. Perhaps it's nothing serious. It was a spell of random vertigo? Is it even possible to get dizzy when I've got a clock for a head? No. Mersault must have noticed that I was out of sorts for a moment because he seemed to pause on purpose for answering my question. No, I thought you said discographers had to take these photos to put in canned experiences. Raw ingredients for canned experience are handled exclusively by the Grand Magazine SIFI. There is no known method for external parties to access them. SIFI, what? Oh, I think I've heard of it. Canned Experience, right? They're in high demand in other districts too, but the only brand stamped on them is Grand Magazine SIFI. Same name every time. I remember some of my classmates bragged about trying them whenever exam week came around. Never had one myself, though. I can't really explain it. I always thought something was kind of wrong. It's that popular, huh? The unprocessed space contents of canned experiences known as experience matter is supplied to reprocessing factories, where discographers fine-tune the experience's details. Photographs are primarily used for that purpose. They can fine-tune experience? An easier example for understanding would be to consider why discographers take pictures of subjects such as buildings. A purchaser may wish to experience living in a luxurious building that they could never afford. Another may wish to vent out impulses of violence by experiencing the burning of expensive property. Demand for hot-core canned experiences increased by day. That's why the photos from earlier were all fancy buildings. Yes, manager. Conversely, information concerning ordinary experiences that can be easily encountered in reality is in low demand. That's why then why photograph these residents at all? Perhaps they were not images harvested for their commodity value, but pure photography in and of itself. Perhaps they had been captured for a desire to seize a vanishing instant through a lens. There are people who take photographs, knowing that it would cost an exorbitant sum. I have seen some before. A staggering amount of money just to take a single photo. That is, if they could even manage to find a photographer who would take the risk and help take the photo. I'm not so crass as to put a price on sentiment and nostalgia, but spending this much money on film rolls, what would have made this investment worth it? I'd say maybe this isn't a matter of sentiment or memories even. Leafing through the photographs, I quietly expressed my thoughts. Executive manager? I'm not exactly an authority on distortions, but I know they manifest through desires or emotions that become wrapped in bizarre ways. But everything the distortions showed us so far back to S Corp. That is S Corp from the past. Only Kim and Aang would have seen and remembered. These photos, though, they're completely untouched by the distortion. Doesn't that feel off? There must be a strong fixation at play, strong enough to slip past even a distortion. And if that observation is something that refuses to let these memories be influenced, I think our next step should be to look for the people in these photos. These photographs are the only undistorted, unaltered clues we have. Dante says it would be advisable to look at the people shown in these photos. Oh, good idea. Team leader did say we should accept input from LCB with open arms. Hey, Angdu, can you get me the office catalog? We'll probably need to commission an office affiliate with Seven Association. Let's look for one. Can someone tell Ezra we're fine? I think I know where to find these people. Dante says one of the people shown in this picture has already been found. Oh, what? How? Well, guess I just had a lucky day. Pulled the radio from my waist and switched it on without answering Ezra's question. I think she said, do we regroup clock? That one was especially hard to understand, Ryoshu. Hey. Roja's with you, right? Can you put her on? Okay. Roja, is you there? Hey, what? Dante wants to talk? One sec. I kind of went overboard with the bread and pastries. My hands are completely full over here. Pastries? What kind? Just ones of everything? Neat. Can you grab extra broasted baguettes for me too? Love the ones from the street that are good. Hold on. I gotta readjust a pile if I want. Just throw them on the floor. They're packaged. Roshi, you can't treat food like that, okay? Bakers have feelings too. You know, how do you think the baker would feel if they knew someone was treating their precious babies like trash? This scabbard is rattling again for no reason. Anyway, Dante, can you give me a sec? If you need me to fight, just need to cram these into my pockets real quick. No, it's not a fight. Oh, then what's this about? I took a closer look at the words written on the wicker basket in the first photograph the result had brought me. Where's that bakery you're at? Oh, that's good. That's good. Hey, again, we got ads in about 5 minutes on Twitch. You can move over to YouTube, or you can subscribe and not have any ads. Either way, I appreciate you watching. It's wonderful to have you here. What are we at? Only 300-ish. Oh my gosh, that's so good. I love it. He can just be like, hey, redirect to me now, thanks. Hell yeah. That's so nice. Cans. Ah, I know who you're looking for. The owner of the bakery was a woman holding the same wicker basket as the one in the photograph. She took one glance at the picture I held up for her and gave a quick nod. This man, he works in Cannery 17, right next. He's a regular. He used to drop by every morning to buy sandwiches to share with his coworkers. Haven't seen him around lately, though. And those coworkers, I assume they were wearing the same uniform? Asking the question on my behalf, Otis showed the baker another photograph. Probably he was always wearing one too. I guess it's the cannery uniform. This confirms our lead, executive manager. A few inquiries at the cannery should bring us to the information we need. Yeah, you're right, but it's just that she doesn't seem very concerned at all. She's the one of the people in the photos that was affected by distortion, right? Thought she'd be a close acquaintance. Do you know the name of the straggler you spoke of? His name? Am I supposed to know that? Though I wasn't expecting her to actually know his name, the apathy evident in her voice gave me pause. He took a photo of you. Wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that you were well acquainted with him? Oh, that. The baker's demeanor changed when Otis pressed the point. She gave a strange, unsettling smile before pulling something from her apron pocket. Then a round, can-like object. He said he'd give me 5 of these canned experiences for free if I let him take a picture. Even said he'd throw in the docograph of the building of my choice. He docugraphs buildings, right? I hear he even takes work trips to the nest every now and then. So I asked him to get me a docugraph of this lovely mansion I saw by the nest suburbs. I know I'll never get to afford beautiful places like that, but this place I could at least experience something like that. Gosh, it was everything I'd hoped for. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but there was a distinct eeriness to that dreamy, blissful smile on the baker's face that sent a chill down my spine. Ahem. Young Mersault. Are these canned experiences truly possessed of such marvels to pluck all semblance of reason from one's continents? They maintain high demand across the city. District 14 is only one of several markets. Does not mean that those who indulge in canned experience may experience venturing on an expedition to the Great Lake and bungee jumping off the summit of that skyscraper yonder as they remain seated where they are. They may, however, a magic can, allowing one to pursue any dream the heart may conceive. Verily, I confess, mine own soul is much tempted. It differs from pursuing a dream. Oh, and he looking off to the side again. We got ads in a few. Just a heads up. He's upset. Mass-produced canned experiences are made from base experience batter mixed with various modified information. The resulting end product enables intense stimulation through altered memory. Therefore, it isn't like the dream experience by Don Quixote. A piece of memory refined alongside the numerous processing stages of Cannery's production line is not equivalent to genuine experience, meaning the uses of experience in her previous statement must also be amended. I see. Interesting. How does this cast a shade upon the boons granted by the can? Invention entails are, forsooth, inclined towards a little grandeur. It is because the memories provided by the canned experience are extremely vivid. Statistics have shown that users of canned experience interpret them as authentic experiences and become dependent on them. A possible cause of the formation of dependence patterns is that canned experience allows one to feel as if one has achieved a dream that is, in reality, impossible. Art thou implying that the users are made content with devouring forged dreams stored in instant-use cans? Worse still, the user may no longer strive to chase dreams in the waking world. For the sweeter and more splendid a dream is embellished, the more impossible it will appear to be grasped with one's hands. To become a cause for surrender instead of inciting one to march forth. Verily, thus is not annul the significance of dreaming itself, if the results dreams rouse not the spirit of gallop towards it. Whether the annals is significant, I cannot know. But they sell well. So how much will you be buying? You came barging in all these questions, and I was patient enough to answer them politely, wasn't I? Don't you think you owe me a sale or two? Not about to leave without buying a single loaf after crowding up my bakery and scaring off my customers, are you? Her case was on point, actually. With our whole group gathering around, the passersby gave us a wide berth and hurried on, whispering among themselves. No one was about to come in and buy bread like that. Yeah, why? How is it fitting in your pocket? So you already ate some? Let's buy a little more. It's true we scared off the other customers. Firstly, given that expense is made to facilitate this operation, lack of prior budgeting should not pose a problem. Oh, nice. Sesame rice bun for me, please. It was Kim. He really did have a knack for making an entrance at the least expected moments. Hey, mister, where have you been this whole time? Wait. Be cross with me all you like, but just give me a moment. Ezra paused, waiting in puzzled anticipation, only for Kim to take a sesame seed rice bun from the baker's hand and chomp into it. Alright, I'm ready. Fucking waste of bread. Ezra's angry fist drove straight into Kim's solar plexus, folding him into the ground like a crumpled sack of potatoes as he rolled away. At this rate, the owner might start charging us the whole bakery next. Roof and all, best get away from here. Manager Rousseau approached me as he walked down the street, with Ezra and Kim still squabbling behind us. He was holding a roll of something brown and tightly coiled. I have completed the development of the film, per your instruction. Oh, so this is the film in that canister you were shaking. Do I just unroll it? Hold it up against the sun or other sources of light. As it is a reverse film, the images should be visible as if they were photographed. I had no idea what a reverse film meant, but I did as he said and unrolled the film. Okay, I can see it. Oh, that's pretty cool. Is it showing? Can I see too? Move it over a little bit. Let me have a look too. It's hard to make out the details because the images were too small, but I could still tell the strip was packed with almost identical pictures. Is that the same person in every shot? In the same pose in all of them? You're right. No, wait a second. See the arm there? The further along the strip goes, the lower it gets. Yeah, and the head looks like it's turning to the right. Huh? We were all squinting up at the tiny frames of the film, and Sinclair suddenly flinched and went stiff like he sees something he shouldn't have. A second later, all color drained from his face. Sinclair, what's the matter? That reminds me of something I learned in school. You draw a picture in the corner of a stack of notes, or a thick book, the exact same spot on every page. You start with the arms down, then you make one small change on every page. Nudge the arms up higher and higher until they're raised all the way up. When you flip the pages fast enough, the drawing looks like separate images. Still figures. The drawing stopped looking like separate images. The still figure starts moving. The class was called Introduction to Motion Pictures. Remember the teacher saying the video footage we watched was all made the same way. You're saying that it's a continuous sequence of still images. Oh, arrangement of frames suggests that this film strip is highly likely to constitute footage, a violation of N-Corp's taboo. Oh. Why don't they like that? But, oh. Interesting. Why are these all the same picture? That's hilarious.
잠시 이것만
I know. Thank you. Excuse me. Oh, crap. As soon as I registered Mersault's words, my hand reflected through the film on the ground. Are we gonna be okay? We might have just broken a taboo. Man began to race, rapidly traveling back through our journey, specifically to the time when Don Quixote smashed the windows at K-Corp and caused a wing to wipe out our team multiple times over. I felt faint. At least we had Virgilius with us then, and it ended up being not that big of a deal at the end of the day, since I could revive the sinners, but some desperate Jews can get us in serious trouble just for carrying anything that has to do with them, can't they? I hurriedly turned around to the sitters, many of whom looked at very bit as troubled as I felt. Still, a few of them expressed a casual lack of concern, citing all the crazy things we've gone through so far. Miss Foz, what'll happen to us if this gets the manager killed? Okay, so this is it, huh? Stop freaking out, guys. They're not dying, and we'll be fine. N-Corp's not going to kill you on the spot for just possessing a film roll. Really? Well, it might be a problem if the film roll does contain genuine recorded footage, but it's not like you guys had a hand in filming it, right? N-Corp do get here to pick it up, just comply with their command, and thank them for their service, and nicely hand it over to the authorities, and everything should be okay. This is possible. There is a possibility that everything will not be okay. Because I have developed the contents of that film roll in that dark room. Oh, the court will take the lack of intentionality into consideration. However, it is very likely that my action will be deemed as aiding the primary violator of the taboo. Really? But Lame Leader said the N-Corp has their own regulatory standards regarding image quality, which they use to determine the severity of taboo violation. If the footage image quality or frame is within regulations, N-Corp won't be sticking their fixtures on our butts right away. That could buy us time to give our company some leverage to make a deal, however small that may be. Because what they're really sniffing around for is how close to reality the video is, or how close of an experience it provides to real life. Oh. So it's a taboo because then they can't sell their singularity to people. Self is ass. So even if we're really, really unlucky, they actually come after us, it's going to be fine as long as the footage is low fidelity, probably. Like just frame within regulations entail. It means the interval between restraints shouldn't be like super brief. Think about the photo slideshows. They only show you one image every few seconds, so it doesn't feel real or vivid, right? You can technically call them motion pictures, but there's no vividness required to violate their taboo. Then let us analyze the film roll and see how vivid it really is. So I trust that you're knowledgeable and subject concerning N-Corp. Yes, cooperate. Could this film roll be considered a violation? Always picked up the film roll from the ground, so it's a result that cannot be determined. Unless each frame is thoroughly analyzed and compared with adjacent. I'll wait for the result to finish. I'll just unroll the film roll and raise it against the sky. What you get over here? Let's analyze these frames! Filmcaster was able to experiment, so I assume the culprit was creating this as a test run of sorts. Experiment to see how close they could get to violating a taboo and testing the limits of the law. It may be a mere collection of similar photographs that are pretending to be recorded footage. Sinners all gather around Otis and look up towards their own rolled film in unison. Here, the flower pot moves between frames, doesn't it? The tachographer couldn't possibly have moved the pot while also holding down the shutter button. I don't see any difference. See here, the expression risen on the subject's visage appears rather stiff. Were there just a gloomy sort? Perhaps, yet observe closely. The stiffness arises not from gloom, but from strain to maintain it. Oh, if that's the case, maybe the subject really is trying to fake an actual footage by moving very slowly. It's a pretty convincing theory, but I'm not sure if that's enough to conclude that we're in the clear just yet. That's when Kim, who had been sprawled on the ground ever since Ezra punched him, stepped into the conversation. Let's see. Look at the shadow cast on the windowsill. See how it noticeably shifts between each frame? Whoever made this knows their craft for sure, but I can't imagine a backstreet dweller would have any way to mess with the sun's trajectory. That's a likely scenario must be that the creator of this film deliberately made its subject move very slowly from frame to frame, creating a series of disconnected photos that, when played sequentially, would look like footage that violates the taboo. In which case, this film does not violate its taboo, correct? Higher probability. So he says, "Hi, executive manager, we should be in the clear for now, at least in regards to aiding in violation of a wings taboo." But if he was willing to go through that much trouble to test N-Corp's patience, it's hard to believe he'd have stopped there. Based on all available evidence, executive manager, it seems reasonable to conclude that the inflection point of this case is a taboo violator on the run. But what motive would they have to do that? Sure, working for a wing subsidiary has nothing to being an actual wing employee, but it's still pretty up there when it comes to careers available in the back streets. Work for a subsidiary long enough and you might even get transferred to a factory job in a nest. It gives you a pretty okay chance at a better life, so maybe he was just tired of living that kind of life. Everyone has one of those days, don't they? The sudden feeling that you could do something more than like the rest of your life in a 9-to-5 hell. To have to do something that takes you away from the pressure of trying to make a life. Something about what Ishmael said must have tickled bamboo-headed Kim, because he suddenly whipped around towards her and shook his head. Maybe, but how many of those people do you think are capable of throwing away everything they're built on a whim? From what I've seen, maybe our culprit just likes to play with fire. Play with fire? Yeah, it must have started by doing something that technically doesn't count as a taboo, and inched on and on until he brushed thrillingly close to one. One thrilling shot through the camera and another with the next, until eventually he ended up recording actual footage. Cool, then it leaves the question of what the heck was he trying to do with it? Must have been trying to screen it through a projector, see all the parts of the back streets for all of this part of the back streets to see. What? But wouldn't that make everyone here, even those who unwillingly came across the projection right on? It'd have made those folks violators of the taboo. Why would anyone? So would you care to explain how you know that? Mr. Bamboo Hat Brain? He asked around on the opposite street, and apparently some guy has been going around asking the workshop if they can make him a projector. It seems most of them turned him down, but they also said that he stopped showing up after a certain point. I guess he's got his hand on the projector somehow. Alas, it is not a taboo of N-Corp to view recorded videos. Pray tell, why would any insane mind... Well, it ain't taboo for you to only make a projector in it. Backstreet blokes are down for anything long as there's coin. So how can we track this guy down? Multiple individuals in the same garb as the print team have just been identified in the vicinity. They're all carrying the same briefcase. Well, isn't that convenient? Maybe we can play this like a festival or convention, just tail people who look like they're involved with what we're looking for, so they'll lead us to where we're looking to go. At architecture conventions, there would be those in formal plaid shirts and suspenders milling about. I could always trust them to lead me to the convention venue. And it was common for those plaid shirt fellows to look around like they're scanning the area. Did they also go around checking people against photographs? Or collect violence? Please advise for They also radioed each other, glaring at people like they're glaring at, huh? Perhaps you could answer that serious question yourself. Nope, this crowd sure doesn't look like they're gonna let us follow them. Damn, gotta beat up the camera guys again. Oh no.
엄마가 검을 들고 나갈 때마다
But what I'm getting is
엄마가 돌아오지 않는 거였어.
this is a guy from S Corp that came to N Corp and works as one of these staff guys.
거짓말쟁이가 되어버릴까?
자, 어느 쪽일지 잘 생각해보라고.
Bang.
이 순간이 다 되어내리라.
이러면 쏠 수 있죠? 시야 확보. 쏜다.
원치 않게 받은 선물도 도움될 때가 있고
분수는 금기다.
엄마와 같은 색으로 가라.
Intelligence gathering. Using a skill of identical rank to the skill photographer. Oh, that's why they have. So 1, 2, 3.
분수는 금기다.
So where does it turn in?
사격 개시.
대범의 머리가 쪼개지진 않았을 텐데 낫도 밤도 지 숨이 다들 배우네.
우와, 지금 완전 삼촌들이랑 공허대 같았어.
You fucking thought? Fuck off.
이건 예상 못했나봐.
어릴 땐 몰랐어. 왜 엄마가 삼촌들이랑 말도 못 섞게 했는지. 그 외부 강사들 손가락
I know some people were having issues with
너희가 보여준 혹은 더 대단한 기술을 매번 엄마에게
the
가르쳐줬거든.
the launching of the game earlier,
자, 어느 쪽일지 잘 생각해.
as it wasn't properly
한 점만 노린다.
going through.
자세히 틀림은 없고
움직임이 어설퍼요.
지킬 게 많거든.
어릴 땐 몰랐어. 왜 엄마가 삼촌들이랑 말도 못 섞게 했는지. 그 외부 강사들 손가락 안에서도 내로라 하는 실력자들이었을 거야. 너희가 보여준 혹은 더 대단한 기술을 매번 엄마에게
자.
가르쳐줬거든.
어느 쪽일지 잘 생각해 보라고.
It is getting quite late.
이 순간이 다 되어내리라.
Let's see how close we are to the ending lunacy.
아무것도 남지 마라.
엄마는 무기라면 뭐든 잘 다뤘어. 그중 제일 뛰어난 게 광력. 어릴 땐 몰랐어. 왜 엄마가 삼촌들이랑 말도 못 섞게 했는지. 그 외부 강사들 손가락 안에서도 내로라 하는 실력자들이었을 거야. 너희가 보여준 혹은 더 대단한 기술을 매번 엄마에게 가르쳐줬거든.
타겟 도착.
이 순간이 다 되어내리라.
좋아. 탄하구만.
그쪽 방향이 아닐 텐데.
Someone came in. I had to do something. Sorry about that.
대단한 머리가 쪼개지지 않아. 일찍 끝나겠구나. 이런 걸 보면 단축의 요술. 끝을 알 수 없던 엄마가 선택한 최선의 방법이었을지도 모르겠어. 위험인물 발견. 검지대사의 생활.
Obliterate that man.
좋아.
끊어내고 싶었을 텐. 이 순간이 다 되어내리라.
먼저 빠진다.
지금처럼 엄마와 함께 이곳저곳을 다니며
My scabbard shaking again.
언젠가 그 중에서 가장 멋진 곳에 나를 데려갈 수 있게.
그 정도 화력으로 우리 사무소를 막을 수 있을 줄 알았냐? 너는 뭐 누구까지 도와서 철수하라고?
I will finish this tomorrow. Well, later today-ish / tomorrow when I stream. It's a bit late. I do need to get up. Let's find somebody to raid. Thank you, YouTube, for watching. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, see you tomorrow.